You ever play a game and then realize that if you'd just known about that one thing, the game would have been way easier? Well, today we're talking about multiplying fractions. And just like that game, I'm going to share with you that one thing that makes it so much easier. So come join me. What's up guys, Mr. D here with you once again to help you grow and dominate your math skills. If you're new to us, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so that you can know about each and every new episode and help others find us too. So far we've talked about how to multiply fractions and whole numbers. If you missed that episode, click this link up here. But for those who are ready, it's time to learn how to multiply one fraction by another fraction.
Yeah, but when would someone need to multiply two fractions?
Good question. What I want you to see is that the multiplication symbol in a problem like you see here is also a way of saying the word of. For instance, 1/2 times 2/3 is the same thing as finding 1/2 of 2/3. So let's say, for instance, you have 2/3 of a pie in your fridge, and your little brother sneaks in there and eats half of that pie. He didn't eat half of the entire pie, he ate half of the 2/3 that was in there. So if you wanted to know what fraction of the pie was left in the pan, you would need to know what half of 2/3 is. And the way that you'd solve that would be to do 1/2 times 2/3. Or let's think about this one. Let's say 3/8 of the girls in your school have black hair. Now out of those girls, 1/3 of them have glasses. So what fraction of the girls in your school have black hair and glasses? What's being asked here is quite simple. If 3/8 of the girls have black hair, then we're not worried about the rest, we just want to know about the 3/8. And what we need to find out is what 1/3 of 3/8 is. And again, we can do 1/3 times 3/8 to solve this. Now before I show you how to solve, I want to remind you of something called the commutative property of multiplication. That's just a fancy pants name for the math rule that states this. When you multiply, the order in which you place the numbers doesn't change the answer. I just remember it like this. Commutative property means order doesn't matter. So 1/3 times 3/8 is going to give me the exact same answer as 3/8 times 1/3. Now, how do you solve these? Well, I'll show you the basic way, and then I'll teach you a possible shortcut that can make you even faster at solving these. So to solve problems like this, all you need to do is multiply straight across. No, seriously. I mean, just multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator, and you're pretty much done. The only thing left is to simplify. For most people, that's the part where it can get complicated. And by the way, for a refresher on simplifying, I want to encourage you to click the link on the screen or in the description of this episode. Now, for the shortcut. All right, so the main thing that gets annoying with these types of problems is the simplifying, and it's going to get even worse when you multiply mixed numbers. You see, this problem was relatively simple, 1 times 3 and 3 times 8. But when you do mixed numbers, eventually you'll have way bigger numbers to deal with. So let's start by learning the basic way of doing something called cross-simplifying. It works like this. Instead of multiplying straight across and then simplifying 3/24, we can simplify before we multiply. Now again, I get that this is a small number and that it really isn't that hard to simplify 3/24, but by learning this skill, you'll be prepared to solve even harder problems. To show you cross-simplifying, we're going to head to the whiteboard. So grab your paper and pencil and let's get started. All right, here's 1/3 times 3/8. What we're going to do is look at the numbers that are diagonal from one another and sort of pretend that those numbers make up a fraction. So what I see now is 1/8 and 3/3. And let's think, can I simplify 1/8? No. Can I simplify 3/3? Yes. In fact, if the numerator and denominator are the same, I can replace both of those numbers with ones. So I'm going to cross out the 3 here and replace them both with the number 1. Now I can multiply straight across to get 1/8, and guess what? You're already in simplest form. Now you might think that this is unnecessary, and for a problem like this, it very well might be. But let's take it a step further and try it with something a bit trickier. Here's 7/12 times 24/25. Yikes. I mean, I could multiply 7 times 24 and then 12 times 25, and that'd give me 168 over 300. Then you'd have to simplify your answer. But let's use cross simplification to see if we can make it simpler. So our setup is 7/12 times 24 over 25. Let's look at the diagonal partner for each of these numbers and we'll see what fraction they'd make. We have 7 over 25 and 12 and 24. Okay, can we simplify 7 over 25? Unfortunately, no, but we can simplify 12 over 24. That one's actually pretty easy because 12 and 24 are both part of the times 12s. So if I divided each number by 12, I'd end up with 1 and 2. So I'm going to replace the 12 and the 24 with 1 and 2. Now when I multiply straight across, I have 7 times 2 and 1 times 25. That will give me 14 over 25. That's also the answer in simplest form. You see, if you simplify as far as you can before you multiply, you'll always be in simplest form when you reach your answer. You ready for one more? All right, here we go. Let's do 5/14 times 2/5. Again, you could multiply straight across and then simplify when you've done that, but sometimes it's easier to cross simplify. So let's try it. Oh, look, 5 and 5. Remember what we said earlier when the numbers were the same? We can turn them both into ones. Now let's look at the other pair, 2 and 14. Can I simplify those? Sure I can. I can divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. Now I'm ready to multiply straight across. 1 times 1 is of course 1, and 7 times 1 is of course 7. So I have 1/7 as my product. Keep in mind that cross-simplifying is a great shortcut, but sometimes it can't be used. Those diagonal pairs can't always be simplified, just like regular fractions can't always be simplified. However, I guarantee that most of the problems that you do in school, especially with larger numbers, will be able to be simplified just like this. For more math tutorials like this one, or for the 1-minute straight-to-the-point version, click the links that you see on the screen here. Until next time, I'm Mr. D. Thanks for joining me.